We're talking about brain health, what you had for breakfast, your first pet, examples of both short and long-term memory. Of course, your ability to remember changes as you age, but what can be done about it? September is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, a good time to talk about the myths and the reality when it comes to brain health. We spoke with Dr. Audrey Duarte, neurobiology professor at the University of Texas, who's done extensive research on memory loss. Dr. Duarte, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So the prevalence of Alzheimer's is increasing, sadly. 450,000 Texans have it, nearly 500,000. That makes this topic a concern for everyone. Since we're all, of course, going to get older, what exactly happens to our brains that impacts our ability to remember?
That's a really good question. So first I'll just say it is true that Alzheimer's prevalence is increasing, but that's largely because the number of people over the age of 60 is increasing. And so as the baby boomer generation starts to get older, so is the incidence of Alzheimer's disease. Most people will not develop Alzheimer's disease, so that's sort of a comforting fact. But when people do, what we think is happening is that there is pathology in the brain associated with certain proteins that are always there but start to just kind of develop abnormally. And we think that that's interfering with neural functioning and causing dementia.
And thank you for that clarification, because when you hear that, you think, oh no, like it's kind of staggering to think about, but it does make sense. People are getting older, and with an older population, these things happen. So let's talk about some do's and don'ts, though. What's your view of brain health supplements like ginkgo or other brands we see advertised? Are these legit? Do they work?
I would say most of the supplements that you hear about with regard to boosting brain functioning and that sort of thing, there's not a lot of scientific support for that. It doesn't mean that there's zero, it's just not enough that really, it would maybe make it that worth it. And it's definitely none of them are going to prevent dementia. So that's true. However, some of them do have pretty substantiated benefits. So for example, omega fatty acids, those are really good. The fish oils, those sorts of things that people hear about, those are really good, not just for brain health, but for digestive health and basically every system in the body. But again, nothing will delay or prevent dementia in terms of supplements.
Now, what about exercising the brain, though? Crossword puzzles, Sudoku, a personal favorite, playing trivia or playing music. What about those kind of activities in helping stave off stuff like Alzheimer's?
Yeah, really good question. So people really enjoy those activities for sure, and anything enjoyable is beneficial. Doing crosswords specifically, is that going to change the brain in a way that it's going to prevent dementia? No, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing those activities, because again, enjoyable activities, whether they're crosswords or Sudoku or just socializing with family, friends, those are really beneficial and can potentially prevent or at least delay Alzheimer's disease.
Can you talk about the connection between brain health and mental health?
Oh yeah. So mental health is very near and dear to my heart. We study depression and aging quite a lot. Brain health and mental health are intimately connected, so you can't really disentangle them. If you're asking about sort of depression or mood changes in aging, this is something we don't know that much about, and we're trying to understand. It is true that Alzheimer's pathology that causes dementia can also produce depression. So they are connected in that way, but neural integrity, how it supports cognition, likely supports mental health as well. It's just, there's much more to understand, I think, about that topic.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's so much more. It's the brain, you know. This has been a topic of study for so long and still so much yet to find out. And is memory loss, though, preventable? What is your expert advice on how to boost our brain health?
So one thing I'll say is that this isn't something that needs to or should only start in older age. This is something we can be doing our whole lives. So I like to focus on the things that are malleable, things that we can control. Genetics, we can't do anything about that, right? But we can do things about our physical fitness, our mental health to some extent, our sleep, These are huge factors. So sleep, poor sleep, which unfortunately is something that we experience more of as we age.
Guilty.
And anyway, just some people have really difficult sleep, is really a strong predictor of Alzheimer's disease risk. So anything we can do to benefit our sleep, mindfulness, physical exercise, socializing, well-being, all of those promote better sleep. Physical activity is a really big one. So I would say there's probably the most scientific support for some kind of physical fitness. The fortunate thing is it doesn't have to be running marathons, right?
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it can be stretching, it can be yoga, it can be walking or Tai Chi. Any of those activities have been shown scientifically to support better brain and cognitive health.
Okay, note to self, a challenge for us all. And sleeping more and walking, okay, we can make it happen. It might be hard, but I think those are things that everyone can do. Well, these are some excellent tips, Dr. Duarte. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure, thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this video. And don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Austin Insight for free in the PBS app.